happy 2017. This is Dark Dove Tarot. Sorry I am late, but I have been pretty under the weather. So my 2017 started off with quite a nasty cold. Hope a lot of you are doing better than I am. So again, sorry, I'm a week and a half late, but I've been trying to recuperate. So I already shuffled the cards. I'm just giving them another go, and we'll get started. So welcome to 2017, January, Virgo. I generally focus on love and relationships, but if I find something that ties in like finance, family, etc., I'll definitely bring it up. I move pretty fast because I have a lot to say and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So hopefully you get from this read what you need, and you're able to follow along without any issues. Check your sun, moon, and rising as everybody always tells you because this is general, but hopefully it does resonate with quite a few of you. So let's get started. Okay, January 2017 for Virgo. What do we have? This is your present. This is where you are currently. So right now we have the Five of Coins. And the Five of Coins, wow, Virgo. It's not predominantly a great card, but it doesn't mean the end of the world either. This card means a feeling of inadequacy and unhappiness. It means suffering of the heart. Could be by either parties involved in a relationship or marriage, or by one party involved. Someone is feeling like they can't make the person in the relationship happy, that their partner's not happy, and they're tired of trying to make it work, or vice versa. Maybe your partner's feeling that, but I sense most of you are feeling, for most of you, it's you that is not very happy, and you can't seem to get any changes, happening. Even if you've discussed it or had major conversations with your partner, it doesn't seem like anything's changing, and you're feeling kind of stagnant. Definitely a feeling of a funk. It seems as though a lot of you ended 2016 and were hoping for holiday nostalgia, hoping it would heat up your partnership, and it did for a short period, and now it feels like 2017 didn't start very well. The nostalgia kind of died out, and again, you're standing kind of still. So I get a lot of you saying, same old, nothing's changing. Some of you may even be doubting whether the relationship is for you anymore. Virgos are very strong people, and they can conquer anything. But I get the sense a lot of you are feeling like you're failing. And no one is harder on a Virgo than a Virgo. They are definitely hard enough on themselves. They don't need anybody else to be hard on them. If you're single, this could be a person you've developed strong feelings for, you're starting to, and your partner's wanting a friends with benefit type relationship. Maybe you're dealing with a Don Juan or a Don Juanita. I don't really like to depict whether it's male or female, but maybe they're crossing the line now and they made promises they're not intending to keep. However, this feels like an awakening, possibly a sad one. A lot of you are going to let go. It's as if you're waking up for the first time in a long time and you're realizing it. You're realizing it shouldn't be this hard, and you're not willing to spend much more time on something that doesn't make you feel good anymore. This may also pertain to fears of good things that are happening right now. Maybe some of you have a pregnancy announcement or an engagement, but now you're having major anxiety about not having stability or finances or feeling adequate about, whether or not you can take care of a new addition to a family or getting married. Regardless, this feeling represents a feeling of heartache, but it's not an ending card. It's not a cutting card. So the next card we have is feelings or challenges. A lot of them are internal. Some could be external, but this is kind of what's crossing the Five of Coins and, moving this along, which makes sense. The Ace of Swords. So this is your challenge card. And the Ace is a double-edged sword, often meaning that you're tired of heartbreak, you're looking for harmony, and your mind sees the clarity, but your heart does not. This is your mind and heart at war, so to speak, and you'll notice that logic is winning. Your mind knows that cutting ties and moving on to someone who treats you better is the right solution, but your heart feels compassion even though you've been let down. Virgos don't give up easily. They try to make things work even when it's inevitable that they won't. Maybe Sometimes this means starting a new relationship and finding passion again. It could be passions or positive actions with your current partner that you're pursuing. And this doesn't mean so far that a lot of you are heading for divorce or it's not going to work. It just means a lot of communication is happening and you're finally standing up for what you're looking for. And if both your hearts are in it, you'll do just fine. If it's a friends with benefits situation or a relationship you've been holding on to for the wrong reason, the ace means you're cutting ties. You're listening to what your heart desires and what you deserve, and your mind knows you can achieve it and you'll be just fine. Some of you have had major communication and you realize you're not getting the answers you seek. I'm getting this more for singles who've not made the full commitment yet or the leap of faith. Several of you seem to have made your wants and needs and relationship goals clear, and a lot of you have been told this is what your partner wants too, but in reality, it's not. They're not showing it. You're not feeling it. The issue is, I see, this is actually a really good thing, but it's painstakingly hard because you actually have the power now. You're in the right mindset. You're no longer nervous about the what ifs. What if I never meet anybody again? What if there isn't somebody out there for me? What if I'm letting somebody go who really is for me? You have the confidence to do what you need, but the fear, your challenge right now is how are you going to do it without the drama and hurt? You want a clear cut. You want to be able to start over if you're single, and if you're a relationship, you want things to start moving smoothly without any other issues coming into play. No, long drawn out fights or dramatic exits. You just want to go one way or the other. So the next card is going to be past relationships and things that might be bringing into your present or your future, feelings or even, times you've been through, divorces, abuse. A lot of people have suffered different things in their past. So you have the King of Swords, and the King can be pretty harsh to deal with. So the King often represents someone who was seeking unrealistic expectations. It could be you who is seeking this, but for most of you, I get the feeling you have been in relationships where somebody's held you on a pedestal and there's no way you couldn't fall off. Maybe seeing the big picture and seeking it out, but picking the wrong partners is an issue a lot of you have had. I see you not being picky enough and standing your ground. I see deceit and dishonesty in the past. Instead of loving each other with all of your imperfections, both of you are trying to mold each other into what you want just for the sake of having somebody. Again, this could be you or your partner or both practicing these behaviors. This is in the past, so leave it there. The ace above means you're cutting ties and using logic, but also knowing what you want and what your heart desires and finally moving towards it instead of accepting mediocre and trying to build on something that won't work. No one is perfect, and it's time, that you find someone that makes you feel good and builds you up and not somebody who brings you down. I see a lot of past hurts, people being brought down, and some of you brought to an emotional level of depression or anxiety, and it's affected you greatly, and you've brought some of that into your present relationships, and you don't want to bring it into your future relationships. I mean, it may sound cliche, but actions speak louder than words. Remember that. So if you're in a relationship now, seek out the truth. Find out what it is. If it's really long haul, have a serious discussion with your partner and be completely honest about what you want and get the answer you seek. If you're getting, kind of sideswept and we'll talk about it later, or you're not getting the answers you want, move on, because you're not going to get the answers you want going forward. If you're single, start letting go of these past hurts. Start learning to trust and believe again. Let your guard down a little bit. Be smart about it, but let your guard down a little bit. Not everybody is going to put you through the past pain, and not everybody's going to expect you to be something you're not. So the next card is your past. That's a little more recent, the past few weeks, maybe the end of last year. So you have the Page of Swords, and the Page of Swords represents you seeking clarity. So far this read is kind of all syncing together. You have a lot of swords, but now you're moving into, the lighter swords, not so much the cutting knife of the knight. So the page is you needing to know the truth. Excuse me, I have to sneeze. You needing to know the truth about your relationship and where you're headed. So again, having the serious discussions. I feel some of you are with somebody who's not giving you what you need, whether it's passion, attention, etc. Your distant past, the king, could communicate, but not necessarily nicely, or they were overly expectant and again critical. And the recent past has shown the same pattern, but without the ability to commit. So maybe your past committed relationships have been pretty harsh, and now you're falling into the same pattern. You're meeting the same type of people, but these people aren't even willing to commit or make changes. It almost feels like the grass is greener scenario. Either your partner and you are feeling the need to move on to greener pastures instead of working on the relationship at hand, or if you're single, everyone you meet seems to be out looking for greener pastures. The page can leave you feeling less than when it's really you need to focus on yourself and everybody else needs to focus on themselves too. So if you're in a relationship, you both need to do some soul searching and really figure out what it is you want. You know, they may actually truly love you and you them, but do you want to spend your time guessing? This seems to be what's happening recently. A lot of you are trying to figure out your relationship, even if you've been in it for a long time. This may not be the same for everybody, but it goes for both couples and singles. If you're in a relationship or recently left one, or you're single, maybe now you've decided you're not willing to sacrifice the feels and the passion anymore. If you are single, maybe you're looking for someone genuine and not someone who's a serial dater on an online site, always looking for unattainable perfection. You're really focusing on finding the person who meshes well with you and improves your bubble, not bursts it. It seems like you're not willing to settle anymore and starting a new 2017. Your recent past, you've had clarity and you're starting to make decisions. Now it's whether you're going to act on them, even if you're single or partnered. So the next card represents the future. And this is the distant future. So not the end of January. This is, could be weeks or months ahead. So you have the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups fits perfectly into the above. You need to shed some dead weight and soon. You need to, start spicing things up. I'm getting the feeling a lot of you are stagnant and maybe your partner is feeling the same way. The 8 definitely means you're going to start moving. You've been sitting still and the future is bringing major change. For singles, more possibilities, more dates, more places to meet dates. I see a lot of you doing like meetup groups, doing bowling groups, doing maybe wine and painting, not just the regular dating sites. Maybe you've realized that you're holding out for what you deserve, but you're not looking in the right places to find it. So you will be tying up loose ends, and a lot of you will focus on physical things like your appearance. Again, you'll be finding new hobbies, things that are more fulfilling. You're going to find you again and then start building a solid foundation. For relationships, this is the same. You and your partner are going to start really focusing on what you need and what each other needs and how you can connect those and make them happen so you're both feeling fulfilled. So the next card is going to be your immediate future. So January, maybe a few weeks after January, and you have the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups, it's interesting you would get this for your immediate future. With the distant future is the Eight of Cups, because this card kind of heeds a warning. It's saying, look at your present situation. Look at the men or women you're attracting. Are you falling into the exact same patterns of the past? Do you want long-lasting love? Are you dating the same exact people that you've recovered from and expect a different outcome? Kind of like the definition of insanity. So before you can find your future happiness, you must examine your past. And a lot of you are starting to do that. You're taking the new year as a new challenge and, making this a better start for yourself. You're starting to examine yourself and your downfalls. Not just your ex-partners or blaming other people, but you're really delving into how can I change and how can I make my expectations known and how can I find somebody who, fits with what I'm looking for. They don't have to be perfect and they don't have to be just like you, but somebody that you can be happy with. So again, it's cliche, I know, but it takes two to tango, right? And it's true. You may even realize that somebody special was in your grasp and you let them go because you were expecting perfection and you had this big picture in mind and it didn't go exactly according to plan. So maybe it's finally time to let yourself love who you love and be engrossed in them instead of trying to find what you think would be the perfect fit for you or is what you need to fulfill your future dreams. In the immediate future, for singles, you're going to step out of your comfort zone in a routine and take someone out who's completely opposite of what you normally seek and give it a whirl. If you're coupled or married, you're going to spice things up. Plan a trip. Some of you may even decide to take a staycation this month in a cozy hotel somewhere close to home. But the new surroundings will help loosen up your inhibitions and allow you to, you know, start really fulfilling um, opportunities and positive aspects in your relationship. There's a lot of relationships out there that have so much to offer, and you're just at the tip of the iceberg, and you need to kind of dig in more. So the next card is going to be external factors. A lot of these are more tangible. These are the external factors for your future. So you have the Four of Coins, and the Four of Coins is something to look out for. You need to watch who you're meeting as well. Some of you are meeting possessive people or obsessive people. Maybe they're interested in who you're talking to on the phone. Maybe they worry about how much money you spend. Or maybe this is you. Are you trying to be perfect? Are you obsessing over your looks or not allowing your heart to take over and worrying about the tangible, worrying about what kind of car they drive or how much money they have? Just go on a date. Have fun. You don't have to marry this person right away if you're single. I mean, not everybody you meet is going to be the perfect match. So go with no expectations and just enjoy yourself. Some of you are trying to work out, relationship issues, and you both have grudges, and you need to let the grudges go. You're also trying to do things. I get the sense a lot of you are overcompensating by, let's get a new car, or let's doing something, or let's do something, that costs a lot of money instead of, writing your loved one a note or going on a picnic. I know it's a little cold in a lot of places, but you get the idea. You don't need to focus on the tangible so much. You need to focus on the little things that you can cherish forever and the memories, not something that you can buy and put on the shelf. Bonds are forming and communication is starting to clear up, and I feel a lot of you are communicating so clear and so concise in the future that you both know what you're getting into, and it paves the way for a good beginning for couples and singles. The next card is internal factors, so things you're fearing for the future, things that are challenges internally in yourself. And you have the Nine of Coins, and this is where the good stuff starts coming in, because this means internally you're blossoming, you're healing. Whether you meet Mr. or Mrs. Right in a week or 6 months from now, you're feeling the comfort of your own skin. It may come across as the Four of Coins above, a little all-knowing, but inside you're on the right track. You won't settle just to say you have someone. You will hold out and value yourself. Maybe you're working out or dressing up more, but the glow is actually radiating from within. So you could be in your pajamas right now, and internally you're going to start feeling better, and it's going to shine through. You're realizing your self-worth, and you're not going to be in a relationship that's not right for you. Maybe you realize a love of your past is worth pursuing again because you didn't give them a fighting chance and you've been thinking about them a lot. I feel like a lot of you, again, have the big picture and didn't see eye to eye with your partner, or they didn't see it exactly how you did, and now you realize, there's room for growth and change. Virgos are some of the best people I've ever known, some of the best relationships I've had. Friendships, relationships, partners, family members, coworkers, but they're very into planning things out in the future. A lot of Virgos I've known have step by step and sometimes have a hard time leaving things up to chance. So letting go is going to be a big internal factor. You don't always have to be the strong suit. Maybe This will happen, and you and somebody you didn't give the time of day, or they didn't give you the time of day, realize what you missed out on. Regardless, don't let anybody bring you down, and focus on the positive and know the future is bright, whether you meet somebody new, rekindle the past, or whether your relationship starts climbing uphill rapidly. A lot of couples are holding on to hope tighter than ever, which again, Virgos live in reality and don't always let go and give way to hope. But have faith, because the universe has your back, and it's okay to not always know what the future holds or what's coming up. You can't always be in control. So the next card is going to be your hopes and fears for the outcome of January. This is kind of, these two kind of go together, so I'll turn them at the same time. This is basically your outcome, and you have the moon and death. So the moon talks a lot about what you're hoping for. This is a perfect card for this point, because it represents fears or unrealistic thoughts and phases. This ties together nicely because it seems like a lot of this has come across negative or like a lot of work, but it's not. And the outcome is going to be incredible. The moon symbolizes being too afraid to take chances and not letting your inner self radiate. You're just giving a little glow instead of opening up all the way, giving a sliver of a glimpse, basically, in fear of being shot down or viewed as not good enough. Because Virgos, you know, fear not being good enough, when in reality they're excellent people with good morals. This needs to stop, because you're wonderful and amazing, and you're starting a new phase. So you need to stop with the self-doubt. This can also go the opposite direction and mean that some of you are having dreamy illusions of grandiose, and they're not going to manifest because in reality it's unachievable. So make sure you're sticking to goals in your relationship and while you're single and dating that are realistic. In other words, you know, make sure you find what you want in a partner, but make sure that the expectations are upfront and nothing that's unattainable. So stop trying to fit a relationship prospect into a resume and just laugh. Let go. Don't second guess yourself either. If you know you're single and going on dates, don't try and make it happen. Just go with the flow. Have a couple dates and don't plan anything. Just maybe meet somewhere and see, you know, where the wind takes you. Couples will notice that the phases of the moon hold good phases, and they'll always come back because the phases always rotate. Yes, that means there will be bad times, but everybody's aware of that. In life, there's good and bad, but the moon holds promise that you can remember the good phases. So even if you're going through something tumultuous, I can't even say that right now. If you're going through something bad, it will revolve and the good will come in time. So you need to remember that the good times will come, and remember the good times when you're going through something bad. So death is the official outcome, and that's rebirth and change. This is putting something to rest and hatching anew. This is hope. This is what we all need in the beginning of 2017, and Virgo is going to have it stronger than ever. This is either a new beginning in your relationship and a chance to move on, or maybe reigniting a past relationship where you're both ready now, but you know, at one point you were not. Maybe you realize you were happier with that person, or they were happier with you, and now you realize, you know, you'll do what it takes to mend the fences and start fresh. In death, though, this means even if a past relationship comes back, the past is dead, and you must be willing to forget it and forgive and develop a new beginning, or you're going to continue down the same path that you have, unrealistic expectations, grudges being held, etc. It may also mean that, you know, if you have been through a divorce or bad relationship recently or in 2016, it's final and you are moving on and the possibilities are endless. If you're single, again, prospects are in abundance, new possibilities, but it starts within you. You have to let go and you have to start fresh. You're moving past the heartache and you're ready for what's in store in your future, and it's looking good. Change is coming this month and it's much needed. So this is an excellent way to start the year. It may have started off rocky. This month may have started off rocky, but you're moving towards good things. And I think the death card is super important here because there's no choice. Either you're going to continue your relationship and you're going to remember what you had and why you were happy and why you love each other, or you're going to change it, it's going to end, and you're going to move on and you're going to be okay. And singles, you know, same thing. this is the end of, trying to please people, trying to find someone that's not compatible with you, trying to make things work that just aren't. You're going to realize what you're worth and what you're capable of if you haven't started realizing that already. Hope you enjoyed this. I will see you next month.